In this video, we're going to be building the table to match our benches. Now, if you haven't already seen the bench video, there is a video on building these benches. And so we're going to build the table basically the exact same way we did the benches. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit bigger, but the table is going to look quite similar. So first of all, we need 3 2x6 12s because our benches and our table are going to be 6 foot, okay? And so all we have to do with these is cut them in half. Now, for this table, I have decided to only use 5 boards to make up my top. So we're going to have a whole 6 foot extra piece. But if you wanted to go ahead and use 6 boards for the top of your tabletop, because that's just the way it works out, you certainly could. All right, so we need 3 2x6 12s for the top, and then we need 7 additional 2x4 8s. Now, I don't have all my parts cut here because this is actually the first time I'm building this particular table style, and there's a couple of pieces that I would prefer to get a field dimension because I really don't necessarily trust my computer dimensions. So anyhow, I'll get those field dimensions and then we'll cut the rest of our boards, okay? But what do we have so far? So the first thing we want to do is we want to cut 3 pieces that are 50 inches. And then these pieces are going to make up our legs. So our legs here, these are 29.5 inches, okay? And these have a 10-degree miter, and it's parallel on both sides. They're going the same direction. Now, if you look at this part here, this is 19.25 from long point to long point, but the 10-degree miter is not parallel, so it's going in on both sides. And then the same thing here. If we turn these around, you can see here they're the same way. And these here are 25.5. Okay, those are 25.5. From long point to long point, 10-degree miter, these are 19.25. Okay, so that's that. So let me go ahead and make up our leg assemblies here. Like I said, if you've already watched the bench video, the table leg assemblies go together the exact same way. All right, so let me get them laid out here and we'll show you what to do. So a pretty straightforward leg assembly. So we've taken our 2 legs that are the 29.5, 10-degree miter, that's parallel, right? And then we have this horizontal piece here. Again, that's 19.25. And there is no measurement needed here. So what you're going to do is just put your board across there, and then wherever it lines up here, it's got to line up there, and that will get you, once those 2 areas are level and flush, that's where it needs to be, okay? Then up top here, now this does require a dimension. So from this point here, you can see all the way over 10.75, that's where the point of that leg is supposed to be. And then we came in from this side, 10.75, and of course they're flush. That's where the leg needs to be. Okay, so those are our leg assemblies. Really straightforward. Now, as long as we have our leg assembly, what I do want to do is come in from the tip and draw a line 2 inches. Okay, and then from the tip over 2 inches, and then with our carpenter square, draw a straight line. This is where we will put our 50-inch pieces. We're going to put one here in the middle to keep for our leg spreader, and then for our tabletop, okay, we're going to tabletop support there, and that 2-inch mark will be where we put that board to the inside there. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll find center here, which will be 8. So we need to find center. This is 19 inches, so it will be 9 1/8. No, 9 5/8. Or yes, right? Yes, 9 5/8. I'm sorry, 9 5/8. I got all these dimensions in my head and I forget. So this will be at 9 5/8. We'll find center, right? Because this is 19.25. So 9 and 5/8 will be dead center, and then 2 inches here. We'll get all that marked up, and then we'll make another leg assembly the exact same way. Let's go ahead and talk about what I did real quick here. Now, as a general rule, you know, if you've watched any of our other videos, always use 3.5s whenever possible. So in this case, we're able to use 3.5s. So we have 3.5 inches here. So I found center, and I've got it marked right there. And so I just pre-drilled, pre-screwed a couple screws there. Now here I came in 2 3/4. So on the back side, remember I said come in 2. Well, that 3/4 mark is right the dead center of our 2x4. So that's why we came in 2 3/4 and pre-screwed a couple 3.5s, and the same thing on this side. Okay, so it'll make it easy when we go to put our 50-inch boards in between the 2 leg assemblies. It'll just pop right in place. Okay, so with all that done, we need to do the exact same thing one more time. All right, let's bring you up to speed here. So we've got our 2 leg assemblies kind of standing on end. Now these spreader boards here for our legs, they could go on the outside or the inside. You notice here on our benches, we did those to the inside, so we're going to do them to the inside of our table as well. If you like it better flipped, it doesn't really matter. So it will affect our ultimate table overhang a little bit, but like I said, if you have a personal preference, that's fine. So what we have is our 2 50-inch boards here. Remember, we measured in 2 inches on this side, and we're lining up our tabletop support there. But notice on this side, we came in 2 3/4, and that puts our screws dead center here. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and do that on both sides, and then of course repeat it on the opposite side too. So let me go ahead and get those put into place. All right, we'll bring you up to speed where we're at. So we went ahead and attached both of our leg assemblies to our 50-inch tabletop support, right? And then we found the center, which was 25, and we put this extra support in. Now this is one of the boards that I wanted to get a field measurement on. The plans call for 18 and 5/8. I knew that wasn't likely to be perfect because of where these are placed. So if I'm off by any of my dimensions or board placements, obviously that's going to affect the interior. So this worked out to be 18.5, which is about 1/8 of an inch off, obviously. But that's why I didn't cut this to length until I actually took a field measurement. So we put one there in the center, and using 3.5-inch screws again. And then the other thing that we have to do up top here is, again, find center, which is 25 from here, and mark that line, because that's going to be important for our next step here. So what we're going to do is, and this is the other field measurement I wanted to get, we're going to put in so we have those support boards there, right, on the 45s. Well, we're going to do the same thing here for our tabletop. So we're going to put in these 45s, and we need that as our reference point. You'll see why here in just a minute there. So at any rate, I'm going to go ahead and make one of them, and then I'll show you exactly how we do it, so we can get that exact measurement that we need for our 45-degree supports. I have my lovely assistant Abby here helping me out. So what we did, we took one long board and we cut a 45-degree angle on one end and just set it down there in the corner. And then up top here, we came across and measured 25, struck a line on this board, but also struck a line on that board as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our carpenter square and just cut a straight line down like that. So right on that line. And then we're going to have 2 boards meeting right there on both sides. Okay, so once we make this one board, we should be able to make 4 of these and everything line up like it's supposed to. Okay, so let me go ahead and get this cut, make the other 3, and then we'll put them all together. So there is the base of our table. And so now we're just going to cut those pieces for our tabletop. So we'll go ahead and get that done and show you what our tabletop looks like. And there is our finished table and benches. As you can see, looking pretty sharp. We have an 8-inch overhang on either end, so you can easily pull up a chair and seat another people. There's enough space here where you could definitely fit 3 people on the sides. They can straddle this leg right here. That's another reason why we came in so far. So the person sitting way here on the end could straddle that leg. One in the middle, one on the other end. So 6 people real comfortably on the 6-foot table, and then one on either end if you really had to have it. So there you go. But it's a super sturdy design, very farmhouse looking design. So there you go. That'll wrap this one up. Again, we do have plans available for $5 for the table and the benches. And if I didn't mention it previously, these legs obviously go straight up and down. We do have a plan where the legs are splayed. So you get both versions of this table and benches in our plans. We'll show you how to do those 10-degree splayed so they splay out a little bit. I just think it gives an extra little bit of detail. But the one thing that I really like about this particular table and benches, it has a high perceived value. So this particular one I sold for $349. Not something you can just go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy. And so it has a high perceived value, but the cost to build them, of course, our benches are about $30. Our table there is about $60 in materials. But the method of construction is so quick, so easy. I mean, if we were just working on these, we could easily bust out 3 or 4 sets of tables and benches a day very easily. So just something to keep in mind if you're building for profit. Hope you enjoyed this one. And again, look for the other companion video for the bench. All right, thanks for watching.